always do that. I'm a night rider. Every time that I call past midnight, I swear I get higher. Swear I gotta get higher now. I'm a night rider. Every time that I give what I got, I supply that fire. I supply that fire.
What is going on, bookworms? And welcome back to another episode of Bookmarks with Bump. Here we are. It is December 27th. Today is December 28th. Christmas has come and passed, but today is actually December 23rd as I sit here and record this. This will be one of the last nights in my apartment. All my Christmas gifts are wrapped for the family, and everybody's in for a big surprise. I am moving the day after Christmas. That's why things look hectic in here. This is probably a more tucked-in site than you're used to, and honestly, there is so much going on in the world of your favorite endurance runner, certified tool setup guy, all of the other hats that I wear. But yet, here we are. And we're here, regardless of everything that's going on, to bring you the best in ball. Because we are balling with Bump every week on Bookmarks with Bump as the football season rolls on through. And last week, and next week, this Sunday, there's nothing really else going on besides digesting your big family meal, your big Christmas meal, and sitting down and watching football pretty much every day this week. We got games all over the place, and we'll get into those. But first, we have to check back on Week 16 because Thursday night was a game with huge stakes in the NFC West, with both teams at 11-3 and fighting for the top spot. The Seahawks and Rams are ready for the playoffs, and seeding was on the line, as the overtime thriller did not disappoint. Yes, this game went on to be a barn burner. Aside from some huge chunk runs from Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks offense was stalling often, with Jackson Smith and Jigba locked up in the early phases of the game. But it was Jackson Smith and Jigba who would score the game-winning touchdown in overtime, as the Seahawks risked the game with a 2-point conversion, just like in the fourth quarter. McDonald's belief in his squad matches the belief leaking across the nation as true contenders this year. Darnold countered 2 picks with 2 touchdowns in this game. He threw 6 picks to the Los Angeles Rams this season. Just something to think about there. Yet he toppled the Rams, who performed stellar themselves. Matt Stafford throwing for over 400 yards and Puka Nacua going off for 225 yards, having 2 of the biggest games of his career in back-to-back weeks. The Rams did everything they could, but sitting at 30-14 in the fourth, a Seahawks punt return would tilt the table and begin a 24-point swing for the Seahawks to win this game 38-37 in overtime. We had games on Saturday this week. The early game was the Philadelphia Eagles, who ended up defeating the Washington Commanders in a 29-18 win in Washington, clinching the first back-to-back NFC East title since the Eagles' own repeat from 21 to 2004. Jalen Hurts led a balanced offense in this game, connecting with Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith for touchdowns, while Saquon Barkley powered the run game here, surpassing 1,000 yards quietly this season. 16 games, 1,000 yards. Last year he had 2,000 yards. Saquon Barkley, still an effective running back. It's like we got spoiled and used to his performances throughout the stretch that he had last year, where he was just amazing, going for over 2,000 yards. But he ended up scoring a key touchdown in this game. The Eagles' defense limited Washington. God bless Washington Commanders. The Eagles' defense were limiting Washington, who came into this game with Marcus Mariota and left this game with Josh Johnson after Mariota went out. But they were limited to only field goals early and sealed the win with a strong second-half performance, including a late rushing score, improving Philadelphia to 10-5 and securing a playoff berth. In the primetime matchup at Soldier Field, the Chicago Bears pulled off a stunning 22-16 overtime victory over the Green Bay Packers. 2 games in those 3 early games went to overtime. How spoiled were we getting extra football on extra days? What a week it was last week, wasn't it? Now, They extended their NFC North lead to 1.5 games, so any team who's competing is going to have to win out with 2 games left in the season. They were trailing 16-6 late in the fourth quarter when the Bears rallied with 3 Cairo Santos field goals, recovering a crucial onside kick and then tying the game on Caleb Williams' 4th down touchdown pass to rookie Jandre Walker with 24 seconds left. In overtime, the Packers' backup, Malik Willis, replacing injured Love, who went down with a hard concussion in this game. He was seemingly knocked out. It was a tough hit to watch. It reminded you of the 1990s football. It reminded you of Ed McMahon out there with a Bears jersey on. Anyway, Malik Willis fumbles a snap on 4th down, and then Caleb Williams sealed the dramatic win with a 46-yard bomb to DJ Moore. This pass, this is the thing about Caleb Williams, right, is that it's not just his zestiness, but it's also how he'll throw a ball like this, lean back, and put his hands in his hand warmers as he's fading away from the game-winning shot. The Bears improved to 11-4, marking their 6th comeback win this season while trailing in the final minutes. The Tennessee Titans had a 26-9 victory based off the rookie performance from Cam Ward, who completed 21 of 28 passes for 228 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions, helping the Titans snap an 11-game home losing streak and post a season high of 376 yards on offense out there with Tony Pollard going for more than 100. The Chiefs were plagued by injuries and going into this game, and they were starting their 3rd stringer, Chris Oladukin, after Gardner Minshew went out with an ACL tear 1 week after Patrick Mahomes. I think that shows where the Chiefs' focus should be this season, and that's on the offensive line. The Chiefs managed only 3 field goals in a lopsided loss that extended their losing streak to 4 games. The Buffalo Bills had a 23-20 tightly contested win over the Cleveland Browns. The Bills edged out the Browns and became behind a balanced offense effort and key defensive stops late in the game, securing a crucial victory that bolstered their playoff positioning, while the Browns fell short despite a competitive performance here. The Carolina Panthers, in another competitive performance, take over the NFC South, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20. The Panthers seized control of the South with a hard-fought win, highlighted by a late-game interception that sealed the victory over division rival Buccaneers, marking a thrilling finish as Carolina took a full game lead in the division standings. Both teams here will face each other on Week 18. That is a matchup to watch, and they need to get hot going into it. Baker Mayfield, like I said, throwing the interception late, he has to be hurt. I don't know what's going to make him bounce back, but a team that bounced back were the Bengals. The Bengals dominated with an explosive offensive outburst, routing the Dolphins in a blowout that showcased Cincinnati's their passing attack, and kept their playoff hopes alive while dropping Miami further out of contention. The Los Angeles Chargers overwhelmed the Cowboys with a strong all-around performance, pulling away for a convincing road win that highlighted their defensive pressure and efficient scoring drives. The Chargers take away a 34-17 win over the Cowboys there. In a low-scoring defensive battle, the Vikings prevailed over the Giants 16-13, thanks to clutch plays in the final moments, maintaining their momentum in the playoff race with a narrow victory. And it was aura versus aura in this game. Jackson Dart against number 9 out there, and boy, were there a ton of gaffes. But JJ got his gritty off. The Saints cruised to an easy win, stifling the Jets' offense throughout and capitalizing on multiple scoring opportunities to deliver a dominant performance at home, winning 29-6. The Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence shined in this game with 279 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing score to boot. So in the last 2 weeks alone, he scored 10 touchdowns single-handedly with his hands or his feet. but maybe double-handedly, leading the Jaguars to a stunning upset over the Broncos here and keeping Jacksonville in firm control of the AFC South. Despite Denver's strong record entering the game, they lose here 34-20. The Atlanta Falcons ground out a methodical victory behind Kirk Cousins' 2 passing touchdowns and a late Kirk Cousins' sneak score, outlasting the Cardinals in a game that featured steady drives. The Falcons win 26-19 in the Bird Bowl. The Houston Texans held off a late Raiders rally here, surprising, as it has seemed that the Raiders had no offensive firepower this year. Ashton Jeanty goes for over 1,000 yards on the season, quietly, just like Saquon Barkley, being an effective and efficient running back. However, in this game, C.J. Stroud managed the game effectively for a narrow home win that preserved Houston's position in the AFC South hunt, despite a close score from Las Vegas rookie contributions. The Houston Texans take a win 23-21. The Pittsburgh Steelers here and the Detroit Lions. What a game that ended in a conversation, a dramatic finish. The Steelers survived a late Lions comeback attempt when a potential game-winning touchdown was nullified by offensive pass interference, allowing Pittsburgh to escape with the win. Jared Goff threw for 364 yards in this game and 3 scores for Detroit, but Jahmyr Gibbs was limited on the ground, which is something I did not foresee, and the Pittsburgh Steelers run away with a 29-24 win. The New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens headlined on Sunday Night Football, and Drake May and the Patriots clinched a playoff spot with the upset road victory, crushing the Ravens' postseason hopes in a back-and-forth affair that featured strong performances from New England's offense and timely turnovers forced against Baltimore, like when they were driving in the first quarter and we get a fumble off of Derrick Henry, and in the fourth quarter, another fumble. Chasson is out there flying. Our defense is hurt right now, playing without Bubby Spillane, playing without Milton Williams. The 21-day window has just opened up, so he will be back for the playoffs. It's inspiring to see the players stepping up and filling the roles as they have in the past successful Patriots seasons. It reminds me of the simpler times when win was a guarantee. But nonetheless, here we are today, winning this game that I actually went in to worry about. I go in picking New England blindly every single time, and yet again, they shine when I need them the most. And in last night's Monday Night Football showdown to close out Week 16, the San Francisco 49ers dominated the Indianapolis Colts with a convincing 48-27 victory at Lucas Oil Stadium, powered by Brock Purdy's career-best performance of 5 touchdown passes on 25 of 34 completions for 295 yards, despite a late interception, which was the only breath of defense the Colts had all night. Christian McCaffrey contributed 146 scrimmage yards and 2 receiving scores, while the 49ers offense clicked early and often, never punting in the game and pulling away decisively. The Colts, led by a 44-year-old veteran quarterback, Phillip Rivers, in his second start after coming out of retirement, showed fight, with Rivers throwing for 277 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Indianapolis' depleted defense surrendered a season-high 48 points, dropping their playoff chances to 1% and allowing several teams, including the Jaguars, Chargers, and Bills, to clinch postseason berths as a result of the loss. The win keeps San Francisco surging at the perfect time, solidifying their playoff positioning and control over their destiny for a higher NFC seed. I'm moving on Friday, and it's been a lot with working and helping my girlfriend pack as well. I've been back and forth from places for the last week, and I just had to get it done in the few hours that I had over the last few days. I did it. All that's left to put away is my computer, and as soon as I'm ready to post this up, it will be up and out. And I did it. I did it. So I'm coming to you late here. Bear with me as I fly through my recap, and we get on with what's going on. So I wanted to go over what's going on in the postseason. So I looked through, and as of Week 17, As it approaches, a slate this week is loaded with high-stakes matchups. The Christmas Day games have a Saturday doubleheader of Texans and Chargers and Ravens and Packers. It's competitive with 10 teams already clinched. The Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Chargers, and Bills in the AFC are set in the playoffs. The only thing they could do is play for a higher seed. The Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, 49ers, and Rams are all clinched in the NFC, but 4 spots are still open, with several division titles being undecided and seeding battles raging for first-round byes and home field advantage. In the AFC, the Jaguars can lock up the South with a win over the Colts this week, while the surging Texans could keep pressure alive by upsetting the Chargers in a game that impacts wild card positioning. The Patriots control the East but face a tough road test at the Jets. The Broncos' grip on the top seed could tighten or slip depending on the results of those games. In the NFC, the Seahawks hold the number 1 seed and can maintain control with a victory at the Panthers, who reclaim the South lead and could clinch it outright. While the Bears host the 49ers in a potential preview of high seed clash, and the Eagles visit the Bills in an interconference showdown affecting bye chances, the Packers can punch their ticket against the Ravens, and the Rams close the weekend at the Falcons with seeding implications. With elimination on the line for bubble teams like the Colts, Buccaneers, and Lions, plus potential clinches for divisions and byes, Week 17 promises to dramatically reshape the postseason bracket heading into the final week, and that is exactly why we're going to go over it, and we're going to pick every single game, and we are going to get on with the rest of our night here. So, as I share the screen, we have our first games on Thursday, on Christmas. Merry Christmas. We get to wake up and watch football. And on that day, we'll watch Dallas beat the Commanders. We'll watch Detroit beat Minnesota because they are fighting like hell to get a playoff spot. And we will watch Denver beat Kansas City because Kansas City is depleted, as we've spoken about before. And listen, Denver is pissed off after losing to the Jaguars, a team that they thought they should 100% beat, but they didn't. And that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And here you have Denver with a top-ranked offense, a top-ranked defense going up against a third-string quarterback and a team that didn't practice today on Tuesday. You go on to Saturday, December 27th. Okay, not only do we get Christmas football, 3 games, we get 2 games on Saturday yet again. So we have Houston taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in a game that I feel like Houston has to cover. They're going to get the win here over the Chargers. Their defense is just really one to reckon with. And I get that the Raiders kind of had their way a little bit on Sunday, but that doesn't concern me. I think that the Texans know what mistakes they made last week, and DeMeco Ryans being a defensive head coach, that's going to be the emphasis. They're going to hold this team down long enough to let their offense do what they need to do to breathe. And then we have Baltimore traveling to Green Bay, and after a demoralizing, defeating loss, I think that the Green Bay Packers could get a win here. Malik Willis as a starter in this game is not a threat to me as far as the Packers losing here. I don't think that would be what wins or loses this game. I think it will be a step up in the defense, and their ability to stop the run, I think, is something that's going to benefit them here against the Ravens, who are kind of struggling without an identity. We thought we had an idea of who the Ravens were going into this season, and they show us week in and week out why they are not that team. Arizona and Cincinnati. This is a win for Cincinnati. Arizona is in the league to get in active practice against, and I fear that Jonathan Gannon's job is at stake. It's such a shitty thing to say around Christmas time, but it's the truth. Pittsburgh getting a win over Cleveland here. I didn't see them holding down Jahmyr Gibbs and stopping Detroit, but I do see them stopping Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, who will be playing without Quinshad Judkins, their standout running back rookie, who broke his leg last week. So I give it to Pittsburgh here on the road. Every game for them in the AFC North is important, and even with the Ravens losing, I think that they're going to just want to keep the foot on the pedal. they've coasted into the playoffs in a few seasons under Mike Tomlin, and it's really bit them in the ass. And I think this is something that he needs to work on, and I think it's what this team wants to work on. They seem like they've meshed and gelled together so well. It's really shitty that DK Metcalf blew his top off and punched a fan. Is going to be suspended for the rest of the season and lose $40 million in voided contract money because of what he's done. However, I don't think that affects the Pittsburgh Steelers on the field. They chop and they methodically move the ball down the field. They don't always rely on the big shot, and I don't think DK is going to be the loss that kills them. Tennessee Titans, New Orleans Saints. This will be the loss that kills the Titans. They're getting a big win over the Kansas City Chiefs last week. I see them falling to the Saints, who are kind of surging right now. They rise past expectations every single week, and I see them doing that yet again here on Sunday. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Indianapolis. They're so fast. They play so fast, and they play so explosive, and I think that's just going to be a little bit too much for Phillip Rivers here. Unfortunately, the Colts' losing streak continues, but the Jacksonville Jaguars shine as a real contender this year, seemingly. Tampa Bay, traveling down the state to Miami, down the interstate. Give me Tampa Bay. They need to get hot here, especially going into the big Week 18 showdown for the NFC South. Especially if the Panthers get a win at home, they're going to definitely need to get a win. These are two teams that'll probably be watching each other's game. However, they can't. They're both playing at 1 p.m., so they're going to have to just play like hell. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield pull it together against a hobbling Miami team who really looked like they had something going there for a few games, huh? New England Patriots get the win over the Jets. I know I said it would be a tough test, but we are 13.5-point favorites. I think we probably win by 4 or 5 points, honestly. A weird score is going to pop out of this game. It's just going to be a defensive showcase, probably 24-19, something along those lines. Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. I'm going with Carolina here. I'm going with the home team. Sam Darnold, listen, he's winning games, but he's throwing a lot of picks, and the Panthers are a team that can really take the ball away from you if you leave it open, and he just tends to do that too much. I think this is a new Carolina Panthers team. I think they're bubbling, and I think they want this win and the win on Week 18. The New York Giants want the win over the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think I've picked the Raiders once this season, and I'm just going to go with my gut there. Just like I'm going with my gut with Philadelphia heading into Buffalo. Maybe it's just a hopeful little dream for me to kind of squash the Bills into the seeding here, but I think Philadelphia is pulling together some good wins here, finding their offense, and they're not going to take their foot off the pedal just because they clinched the division. I think it's important for them to kind of establish who they are in these next two games, so they're going to use them as they should. Chicago, San Francisco, Sunday Night Football, Purdy against Williams, Mr. Irrelevant against Mr. Generational. And for once, I'm going with Mr. Generational here. Chicago gets the win on the road. They just have so much fire behind them that I think it's going to be hard to find them in a situation where they can lose a game. Because every time it looks like they can lose a game, they pull off the win and they surprise the world again and again and again. So I'm going with Chicago on Sunday Night Football, and on Monday Night Football, I'm going with the Rams. Helping out with a little bit of NFC West shakeup here if I have every team losing except the Rams in the NFC West. I just think the Rams are just another team that's too fast and too overpowered for a Kirk Cousins-led Atlanta Falcons offense to overcome. Their defense flies around like crazy with Kobe Durant and Jared Verse. You have people like Mapu blocking up the middle. The team is just built. The team is built perfectly. You can't build a team any better than they've built the Rams back up since their Super Bowl loss. They had a few seasons where they stumbled a little bit, but now they're back on top, and I think that's where they remain. and where I will remain for the rest of the night is right behind me in this bed. This will be the last episode of Bookmarks with Bump you see from the land before time. From now on, it'll just be one place I don't know what I'm going to call yet. But I'm grateful. And I think that's what's important about right now, this time, the holidays, where things can be so stressful and everything's moving so fast. Just be grateful. Everything that you have to do for somebody else, remember that you get to do it for them because you're in a position that you built yourself to. Be grateful. Be grateful you're in that place where you can do those things. A lot of people wish they were. A lot of the people that you're helping wish that they could be in the position that you're in. And that's something to think about anytime you go to complain about what's going on in your life. And that's my last tidbit there. As always, it's all love. God bless. I always do that.
I'm a night rider. Every time that I call past midnight, I swear I get higher. Swear I gotta get higher now. I'm a night rider. Every time that I give what I got, I supply that fire. I supply that fire.